The Trump administration has now revoked Harvard University's certification to enroll foreign students, citing security concerns and accusations of fostering campus violence and anti-Semitism. Now, the Department of Homeland Security says Harvard has allowed anti-American agitators to attack Jewish students and claims that the university coordinated with the Chinese Communist Party and even training paramilitary groups as recently as 2024. Harvard now enrolls nearly 6,800 international students, mostly graduate scholars from over 100 countries. And these students now face losing their visas or must transfer to other schools. Harvard has now called this ban as unlawful and has warned the move that threatens the entire university community and its research mission. Now, the administration demands Harvard hand over extensive records within 72 hours or remain barred from hosting foreign students in 2025-26 academic year. Critics, however, point out that this is a political move and attack on the academic freedom, while federal authorities argue that it holds Harvard accountable on campus unrest and ties to foreign adversaries as well. So this could have consequences as far as what could happen next. What Trump administration's visa ban for Harvard University and its students, and what could happen now? Because the Homeland Security has now cited concerns about anti-Semitism, pro-Hamas sympathies, and discriminatory diversity policies as the reasons for this decision. Let's get in a word from Pratibha now. Pratibha is connected with us. Pratibha, multiple reactions that have been coming in as far as how Donald Trump, in a way, had already called Harvard as a joke, says that it should lose its government research contracts after the prestigious university refused to accept his demands.
Absolutely, Amita. Trump has called Harvard a joke, but the United States, the Trump administration, has also accused the Harvard University of fostering violence and anti-Semitism. And here is the tweet that has come in from Secretary Christine Noem from the Department of Homeland Security, which is looking into these allegations against the Harvard University. Here's a tweet. It says, this administration is holding Harvard accountable for fostering violence, anti-Semitism, and coordinating with the Chinese Communist Party on its campus. It's a privilege, not a right, for universities to enroll foreign students and benefit from their higher tuition payments to help pad their multi-billion-dollar endowments. Harvard had plenty of opportunity to do the right thing, but it refused. They have lost their student exchange visitor program certification as a result of their failure to adhere to the law. Let this serve as a warning to all universities and academic institutions across the country. And here is a letter that has been issued to Harvard as well. And it says very clearly, as I explained to you in my April letter, it's a privilege to enroll foreign students, and it is also a privilege to employ aliens on campus. So this is from the Homeland Security, the official letter that has been issued to Harvard, and it says it is a privilege to employ aliens on campus. All universities must comply with the Department of Homeland Security requirements, including reporting requirements under the Student Exchange Visitor Programs. The revocation of your Student Exchange Visitor Program certification means that Harvard is prohibited from having any aliens on F&J non-immigrant status from 2025-26 academic school year. This decertification also means that existing aliens, so all immigrants, all those who are not Americans being called aliens in the official letter from the Homeland Security, saying the existing aliens must transfer to another university in order to maintain their non-immigrant status.
All right.
This action should not surprise you and is an unfortunate result of Harvard's failure to comply with simple reporting requirements. So that's a strong statement that has come in from the Homeland Security to the Harvard University, Amita.
All right, Pratibha, thank you for that update. Rishabh also connected with us. Rishabh, is this a move in retaliation? Because the Department of Homeland Security says Harvard has allowed anti-American agitators to attack Jewish students and claims that the university coordinated with the Chinese Communist Party and were even training in paramilitary groups.
Well, Amita and Pratibha, good morning. What we are seeing right now in Harvard, what we are seeing happening in Harvard is quite critical. Harvard or Stanford has been universities in the United States who have been critical of policies, who have been the place for debate and discussion around the policies, not only of American policies, but the world policies. We have seen discussions around Gaza-Israel war. We have seen India-Pakistan discussions happening there. We have seen Russia Ukraine discussions happening there. We have also seen how, during the days of Iraq war or the first Gulf War or Afghanistan war, Harvard and Stanford, the kind of universities, and be it the New York University as well. These universities have been the space where critical discussions around the current political and social affairs have taken place. Donald Trump and his administration is not very keen to have these discussions on university, and that's
All
the
right.
reason that we saw the spat between Donald Trump administration and Harvard initially, and now the Homeland Security coming down heavily on Harvard University.
Well, Trinja, good morning to you as well. Now, we've been speaking if this is retaliation because Harvard nearly enrolls over 6,800 international students that may also have Indian students amongst them as well. What happens from here on? These students now face losing their visas or must seek transfer to other schools.
This is exactly the point. The best and the brightest of the world, including the best and the brightest from India, go to Harvard. Because Harvard, according to many polls, is the best university in the world. And even if it isn't the best, it's definitely in the top 5. And there are very few universities that can match Harvard in terms of resources, because Harvard's endowment is $53 billion. That's more than any university in the world. But it's a blow for the Indian student community because the best want to go to Harvard. And many Indians, many eminent Indians have been to Harvard. Of the Nobel winners from India, Amartya Sen has taught at Harvard, just as an example. Now, the problem is that for these next 4 years, definitely, Harvard will not be able to enroll in any foreign students, including Indian students. Now, this could go up to the US Supreme Court. That would be one possibility, and the Supreme Court would decide what has to be done. So that is one possibility. But beyond that, this was something that was going to happen because Harvard, the best university in the world, is fighting the most powerful man in the world. So it's a very difficult situation. And clearly, there is going to be trouble for Harvard.
Yes.
Even though of all universities in the world, it's best insulated to face these problems.
So here is, as far as the administration of Donald Trump is concerned, they have now set across a condition that Harvard hands over extensive records within 72 hours or remain barred from hosting foreign students in 2025-26 academic year. Listen in.
The Trump administration revoked Harvard University's ability to host foreign students on their campus. They said that any of the university's more than 6,000 foreign students either needs to transfer to another university or they will lose their status to be in the country legally. This is part of the Trump administration's escalating battle with Harvard. Harvard is the first university in the United States to openly defy the Trump administration's orders to limit pro-Palestinian protests on campus and to eliminate DEI practices. And this is one more front that the administration is looking at to kind of try to pressure Harvard into coming into compliance. The Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security had requested a bunch of documents from Harvard related to international students. She says that Harvard didn't comply, and as a result, she's taking this step to revoke Harvard's ability to host foreign students on campus. She says that if they comply with a records request within 72 hours, they could regain that status. But for now, they're telling students that they're no longer eligible to be at Harvard and that they would need to transfer or leave the country.
Well, Srinjo, as you said, it may lead to a possible legal battle, but there are critics who say that this move is possibly a political attack on the academic freedom, while the federal authorities argue that it holds Harvard accountable for campus unrest and ties to foreign adversaries.
Yes, the whole point is Harvard, regardless of its political stance, is a great area for top of the line research. Now, if you look at, let's say, 850 to 900 people who have won the Nobel Prize for physics, chemistry, and medicine, of that, about 100 or so have been to Harvard or have taught at Harvard or have been involved in, with Harvard in some way or the other. And of these 150, many have been foreign students. About that, there is no doubt. So this is something that could hurt research and development in the long run for America. Because the Americans, if there is one way the Americans are far superior to China at this point, it is the level of research and development. And this is something Harvard is tops at, because these Nobel numbers will tell you the story. But if there is a ban on foreign students, including Indian students, it of course affects India, because some of the best and the brightest Indian students go to Harvard. It's a dream for many people to go to Harvard, including scientists, including lawyers. But it will also affect American research. And that is something which is going to be difficult to deal with, because the best students will not stay in America then. They will go to Europe, they will go to Japan, they will go to other countries. And this could hurt America in the long run. Of course, the whole process will hurt Indian students.
Well, we'll speak on that as well. Mr. Goel is connected with us. Sir, good morning to you. As been speaking of a prestigious university like Harvard, of course, when it comes to Indian students, over 700 of them are reportedly studying in Harvard. What happens to their future? Because Donald Trump has already called Harvard as a joke, saying that it should lose its government research contracts when the university refused to accept its demands.
Two things come to my mind immediately. Number one, this tussle going on between Harvard and Trump and not giving funds for international students to Harvard. I do not know whether that will work for those who are already enrolled in Harvard. Normally, in cases like this, those who are already there, they will continue. And therefore, I'm not so worried about the future of 700 students already there in the university. Number two, whether there will be more Indian students who will want to go to Harvard. Yes, Harvard is a very prestigious institution, but the situation is not same as before. Now, there is a number of institutions which are available to the Indian students, including in India, if they wish to come to the Indian institutions. And therefore, my sense is that not allowing international students to study in Harvard will be a loss for the USA, not for India or anyone else. Please do remember that many of those students who went to Harvard, they actually began to work in the USA industry, NASA, space work, atomic energy, scientific research. So therefore, I would consider it is their loss, really.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goel, for your point of view. Of course, it could have larger ramifications as well, because there are stories that are coming in from both sides, reactions that have been coming in from both sides, Pratibha. Because after the prestigious university refused that demands that it accept outside political supervision, there has been a back and forth that has been happening between the Trump administration and Harvard.
Yes, it has been ongoing for a while now, and in fact the Trump administration had very clearly told the Harvard University to cut down on this activism that is seen on the campus, and yet there was a pushback from the Harvard University which has now resulted in an unprecedented action against an Ivy League college. And I want to just show you, Harvard has not put out any official statement on its website, but it gives a detailed account of the number of students that are present there in the university. The only note that it says here is that research powers progress, and Harvard has spoken about how it is affected by the action that is taken by the Trump administration. But I want to go back to what the Homeland Security has said, because these are some very strong words that have been used by the Homeland Security in its official letter to the Harvard University. And again, these are students who have legally come to the United States. Amitabh, there are students from across the world who want to study at Harvard and the other Ivy League institutions. They have gone to the United States after a lot of scrutiny, but they have been referred to, these students have been referred to as illegals. In fact, even the faculty at the Harvard University has been referred to as an alien in the official letter of the Homeland Security. Here's what it says. Let me just read it out again. It says, I'm writing to inform you that effective immediately, Harvard University Student Exchange Visitor Program certification is revoked. As I explained to you in April letter, it's a privilege to enroll foreign students. It is also a privilege to employ aliens on campus. All university must comply with the Department of Homeland Security requirements, including reporting requirements under the Student Exchange Visitor Program regulations to maintain this privilege. As a result of your refusal to comply with multiple requests to provide the Department of Homeland Security pertinent information while perpetuating an unsafe campus environment that is hostile to Jewish students. So at the heart of this entire standoff is the pro-Hamas stance that several students in Harvard University have taken. That's the charge that has come in here. It says that it is your refusal to comply with multiple requests in an environment that is hostile to Jewish students, promotes pro-Hamas sympathizers and employs a racist diversity, equity and inclusion policies. You have lost this privilege. The revocation of your Student Exchange Visitor Program certification means that Harvard is prohibited from having any alien...
So is the fight or conflict ideological or political? As far as a strongly worded statement as Pratibha is reading out to her that has come in from the Department of Homeland Security, that they have been calling Harvard, which has created an unsafe campus environment by allowing anti-American pro-terrorist agitators to assault Jewish students on campus, also accusing Harvard of coordinating with the Chinese Communist Party. For the moment, Shinjoy and Pratibha, thank you very much for joining in. We'll get you more reactions back after a short.